Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Morning sunshine. Wow. As you can see, it's a darker day today. There's no real sun. It's 34 degrees still, which means it's hot. However, no sun. So does it really feel that way? Listen, y'all, we've got lots to discuss in today's episode of the Morning Report. We're going to be kicking things off with some great news about our queen. The queen bee herself, Beyonce, has finally won her first ever Emmy Award for Beyonce Bowl. We also have to talk about Jenelle Evans speaking up against or about how heavily screwed she was in her divorce. Then we're going to get into Justin Baldoni's crisis PR team demanding a raise, Drake making demands in that lawsuit that he has over Kendrick Lamar's song. And we're going to finish things off with a recap of last night's episode of The Valley. Spoiler alert, I'm actually really pissed off about how part 3 ended. Y'all know, I'm actually Team Janet. A lot of people hate Janet, and they don't. Sorry, I have like an eyelash stuck in my eye. They don't like the way that she's been holding Danny accountable all season long. And I was actually quite disgusted by something that Andy Cohen and the rest of the gang did, and we have to talk about it. So, East Awesome, Star, Jaleesa, everybody else who hates my pro-Janet takes, get ready because I'm going to be even more pro-Janet than ever, y'all, in this recap of part 3. If you find yourself at any given moment enjoying today's episode of the Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you enjoy my content. Please and thank you. In the meantime, let's see who we've got joining us for the show today. I always try to read as many names as I can. Sometimes it gets difficult, but I really do try. So thank y'all so much for being here. Shout out to you, Bush Squad, as well. I'm seeing more and more members from the Bush Squad come out and like leave a little hello. So thank you to those of you who are, crawling your way out of there. I love it. We've got Gala, Ronnie, Carly, Venetia, Ali, Tadisha, Nikki, Tyrell, Mocha Madness, Crazy Dalmatian Lady, Hold My Foot Joe, Michelle, Malen. We've got Ronnie. Oh, Ronnie's on her day off. Who was at the zoo yesterday? It wasn't you, was it, Ronnie? Was it Karen? It was Carly, right? Carly, how did the zoo go? We've got Kahara. We've got Raven for her first live. That's so Raven. It's the future I can see. Hey, Raven. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. We've got Stephanie. Oh, Stephanie's got a new picture, y'all. Guys, I'm telling you, I am so easily distractible. Every time y'all have a new picture, I have to go zoom in. Stephanie, don't play with us. Don't play with us. Don't play with us. You look the F good. Oh my God. You look amazing, Stephanie. Wow, this picture. Okay. You are eating. You are absolutely slaying. We've got Alexa. Good morning. Nikki says this is my last show until the 25th, going on vacation. See y'all when I get back. We're going to miss you, Nikki. Isn't it your birthday? Is this like a birthday trip? That's what you're leaving us for? Happy birthday in advance. Where are you going for your trip? Please let us know if you feel comfortable anyway. I'm nosy. Good morning, Milan. And I know, I'm sorry, Kahara, but I'm Team Janet all the way, especially after the way that Andy Cohen behaved in part 3 of the reunion. In my opinion, his questions, his behavior, his demeanor was completely unacceptable. And I'll tell y'all why. Hey, Angela, nice to see you. And thank you. Not as good as you, Steph. Girl. You look the F good. Good morning, Crystal, Ashley, Shelby. So nice to see y'all. She says, look, this is someone else coming out of the Bush Squad. She says, gotta say good morning, so I'm not in the Bush Squad. I know that's right, Shelby. Good morning, Kate. And I love that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning, Lex. And good morning to everybody else tuning in as well for today's episode of The Morning Report. Y'all, I am so freaking happy and excited to start off today's show with some fantastic news. Beyonce has finally earned her well-deserved, long overdue Emmy Award. I think that Beyonce should have swept the Emmys for her Lemonade film that was absolutely incredible, jaw-dropping, industry leading. Like, she just totally changed the game with that. I think that she should have also won for the Beachella film and a special that she had as well. That was absolute. I still cannot believe that she lost out for best camera work. Like, you know, all the cameras that went into her Beachella short film versus the webcams that go into Carpool Karaoke, and she lost to Carpool Karaoke. Do not even get me started, right? So, like, finally, she's won one, and it was for the Beyonce Bowl. And you know what? In honor of this, I am going to go back and watch the Beyonce Bowl for the 5th time. My friend Julie and I, we watched it twice, back to back when it first came out. I think it was Christmas Eve or something like that. We were just so freaking obsessed and excited. And we knew that we were going to get tickets to watch the Cowboy Carter concert as well. So to see her finally perform songs from that album, like, live, was just absolutely incredible. So the exact Emmy that she won was for costume designer for the outstanding costumes for variety, nonfiction, or reality programming category. And the costume designer, Shiona Turini, assistant costume designers, Erica Rice and Molly Peters, and costume supervisor, Chelsea Stable, and head of workroom, Timothy White, also received an Emmy Award for their work costuming the Beyonce Bowl as well. And so this is not the only Emmy Award that Beyonce is up for. This is just like something that happens in like the you know, like how sometimes with the Grammys, like while people are walking the carpet before the ceremony and stuff, they're announcing winners. This is that, but version for the Emmys, okay? And so Beyonce is also up for outstanding directing for a variety special with Alex Rudzinski. And she's also up for the outstanding variety special live category. So that is where she's going to be competing against Blue Ivy's dad, Jay-Z. So Jay-Z is nominated for his involvement in the Super Bowl halftime show, which starred Kendrick Lamar. So that is going to be some very stiff competition. But listen, please, some of you guys outed yourselves as witches when we're talking about the Jenelle stories. So I need all my witches to assemble, cast a spell so that Beyonce can win those other 2 Emmys as well. Listen, I want this, and I need this so bad for Beyonce. I'm so freaking happy for her. She is one step closer to becoming an EGOT, right? So it's Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and Tonys. So she's got the Emmy now. She's got 1 million Grammys. She's the most decorated artist in Grammy Awards history. Does she have the Oscar even for like a song? I don't think she has that yet. I don't think she has a Tony. Maybe she has an Oscar for a song. Beehive, please let me know. And I'm sorry, not me embarrassing us like this. Does Beyonce have an Oscar award? Let me know in the live chat, okay? And Tony's might be next. I would love to see Beyonce do some theater one day. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. So there you go. Jaleesa's celebrating our Beehive member. But Jaleesa's also pissed that I'm still Team Janet. You will all see the truth in my Shannon voice. Good morning, Deshauna. Nice to see you, boo. Nikki says, yes, my wedding anniversary. Oh, so you got your wedding and your B-Day around the same time. I love Antigua. Wow, that is so exciting, Nikki. Have fun. That sounds so fun. Like Carly says, be safe too. That sounds absolutely amazing. Now look at me with the darkness here, and you're going to Antigua. Not fair. Have the best time ever. Happy wedding anniversary and happy birthday as well. Ramsey says, feeling much better today. A shot of pepper vodka. Whoa. Before bed yesterday did wonders. Sweat it out. You know what I pictured? You taking the shot, lying in bed, boom, that pepper hits, and you jump right out of bed. I'm glad that got you the kick that you needed to feel better. Thank God, Ramster. So happy for you. Now, you guys, did anybody tell me if Beyonce won an Oscar yet? Let me see. Winnie says, yeah, she first started in her mom make all the outfits for Destiny's Child. She sure did. Miss Celestine, which, by the way, I didn't know that Miss Tina's name was Celestine. I think Celestine is such a beautiful, pristine royal name. Like, I love it so much. Beautiful name, beautiful name. So it's nice to see all of the Beyonce love coming through. Shout out to the Beehive anytime, Nikki. She sure does have an Oscar. Yes, thank God. I love it. Oh wait, but Carly says she doesn't. Which is it? Which is the truth? Does Beyonce have one? Oh, Black is King won one. Oh, good. That was a good album. Actually, it was a very, very underrated album as well. Listen, guys, let's go ahead and fire up the Beyonce Bowl one more good time for the Emmys, shall we? It was so good. It really, really was. And I also loved her Coachella documentary as well. 3 cheers for you, Beyonce. Oh, how I love my Beyonce. Listen, being a Beyonce fan is the absolute best. I'm telling you, like, it's just always just absolutely win after win after win. You know, amazing album, amazing tour, amazing something after amazing something. And, you know, I can't thank this woman enough. You know, and it feels so, listen, I got to stop going over my love for Beyonce. My love for Beyonce is too strong. Why don't we get into Jenelle? Okay. As you guys are well aware, Jenelle Evans lost out bigly in her divorce from David East. And that man made out like the bandit that he is, while Jenelle was left with a whole bunch of debt, you know, both to David and to her banks for her mortgage, right? And so she is speaking out about that terrible settlement that she had in an exclusive interview with Us Weekly magazine. So she told them, and I quote, "Unfortunately, North Carolina is a 50-50 state, and even though I paid for the majority of our assets, they had to be divided regardless. I don't think a lot of people put that into perspective when getting married, and they definitely should. Prenup should be more accepted into society, in my opinion. Baby, everybody told you not to marry this man. You knew you were a grown-ass woman when you married this man, knowing that he was a deadbeat, knowing that he didn't want to work, knowing that he had children he didn't have custody of or didn't take care of, right? Knowing that he wanted to live off of you. So how do you go marry this man that everybody told you not to freaking marry? Your mom said not to marry him. Your mom said this was the worst guy you've ever freaking dated, right? And you still go ahead and do it anyway. And you come back trying to preach to us. We were trying to preach to you. What are you talking about? Right? So she continued on to say, even though I was left with some debt, I hope everyone can learn from my mistakes and life lessons once again. I'm happy to close this chapter for good. Listen, thank God the majority of people are not foolish enough to put themselves in the sort of positions that she is consistently putting herself in, right? It's truly mind-blowing. I do not understand it. Why did she have to go and marry this man? And again, it's like I said in yesterday's episode of the show, even though David did not contribute financially to the house, he did contribute in terms of childcare. You know, was it abusive childcare? Yeah, absolutely. But he was the primary person looking after those children, right? So even though the law is very flawed and everything, like that counts for something to them, even if this guy is facing charges for allegedly strangling his ex-stepson and whatnot, like they look at that, right, as a contribution. And as if he put his career on hold to be there to look after the children, right? So ordinarily in a regular relationship, right, where a mother or a father as a healthy person is staying at home to primarily look after the kids, like I'm all for these things being split equally in those kinds of cases. However, with David East and that guy, I would be so pissed having to give him anything. Right. And so anyway, she continued on in her interview with Us magazine, saying his attitude that he had, putting everyone in a bad mood all the time, is something that she will not miss about him. Everyone was walking on eggshells. And I'm like, I don't have to live like this. And I don't have to stay together just because we have kids. It took a little time to get used to, but now I'm enjoying my alone time. I'm feeling great because I'm taking time to heal for myself and taking this time to be alone. Baby girl, you were just talking yesterday about how you were on a date. You sent your kids to their first day of school in dirty clothes, unfitted clothes, right? And then when they came back from school, instead of talking to them about how their whole school day went and everything, you were out on a date and you were on the Facebook telling us all about it. So for you to be here in a magazine interview, talk about, I'm this independent woman, I'm living my life on my own for now, like blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, we all know that you just posted the other day that you were on a date after you sent those kids to school looking like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. This is what I mean. The girl will never, ever change. Every single one of her boyfriends is going to be on the same level. The David, Nathan, Gary, Cortland, Kiefer level. Because she refuses to change. She refuses to grow up. She refuses to self-reflect. And she refuses to change her own patterns. It's not possible to attract somebody on a higher level, right, if you're not willing to change some things about yourself. Just saying. God, Jenelle, what is it like? I just can't. Absolutely freaking not. Anyway, let me go back and see what you guys had to say about this story. Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So I'm going back to the Oscar thing. So apparently Beyonce does not have an Oscar. The Black is King win was for a Grammy. So now she's got the Emmy, she's got the Grammy, and she needs the Oscar and the Tony in order to be an EGOT winner. So thank you, Jaleesa and Amelia. Carly says, Gogo could be lying to me, but don't come at me. And thank you, Carly, as well. I'm glad we we solved that mystery. So let's see what you guys had to say, okay, you guys, about the entire Jenelle story. So how long do you guys give it until Jenelle is engaged to her next soulmate? I'm telling you, Tyrell, she really is that girl. Like, she is iconic. When he says if she didn't like it, why did she agree? She's also lying. North Carolina is not a 50-50. And that is the thing. Thanks for pointing it out. That's something we talked about in yesterday's episode of the show, how North Carolina is not particularly a 50-50, but they do try to be as equitable as possible. And this is not something that the judge just handed down to them. They were in mediation. They did not take it to trial. This is something that she accepted, which makes you wonder why exactly that is. Was she afraid of certain information about her leaking to the press? Because throughout this process, there were things about David leaked to the press, right? Before he had his legal team and while he was still scrambling to get representation. But perhaps when he was, finally equipped with proper representation, she started scrambling and getting scared and said, give him whatever he wants because I don't want certain things about me to come out. That's always a possibility, right? The Last Targaryen says, I don't believe even one of the teen moms ended up with a man who doesn't use them. Some are just nicer about it than others. And I agree. Listen, they saw an opportunity. These men saw an opportunity with these, these ladies, low self-esteem, young single moms and whatnot. And, people like Taylor, a lot of people forget Taylor, his first 2 seasons, I think, of the show, he was so obnoxious. He was extremely obnoxious about how he was so happy to be on camera. Like, you have to go back and rewatch those seasons. Like, it was weird. It was annoying. Like, he even on camera was trying to get Macy's like gaudy engagement ring for free. He's like, yeah, like, what if we do like a promo on the show? Sir, Michelle says, today's my husband's birthday and our anniversary is Friday. Happy birthday to your hubby, Michelle. And I hope you guys have a great time celebrating his birthday and you guys' anniversary as well. August is for lovers, it looks like, isn't it? Paprika says, no prenups. If you can't trust someone, do not get married. Oof. But it's so tough. Like, people change so much. I don't know. I think I would like a prenup. I'm sorry, Paprika. I think I would like a prenup. I think they're so safe because you really never know what's going to happen in life, right? And you can trust somebody while you're getting a prenup. I don't know, but you know what? Everybody's different. I get your perspective too. I really do, but I don't know. I think I would like to be safe. Ali says, I only have a horse and a car and I would still get a prenup, right? Like, it can protect you. You really, really never know someone for real until you're divorcing them or until like something bad has happened, right? And not everybody's going to be the same nice lovey-dovey person that they once were once assets are on the line. Mocha says, Jenelle, that's what you get for supporting a man but not supporting your son, Jace. Remember him. You deserve it, period. I will never, ever feel sorry for Jenelle Deadbeat Evans when it comes to this divorce situation. I'm happy that David took her to the cleaners. It was obvious from the very, very beginning. Every single person warned her, yet she decided that she wanted to go ahead and go through with this anyway. Tyrell says, on my TV, it shows what you're going to talk about next. Using my phone for comments, the TV to see your beautiful face. Oh, I love that it's doing that. Thanks, Tyrell. That's a new thing that I started doing as of yesterday. So it's that little ticker that you see on the bottom of the screen. And then I also got this graphic that I make every morning as well before the show to give you guys a little bit of like a menu of what's to come next. So I'm happy that it's showing up well, Tyrell. Thank you so much for the update on that. So listen, y'all, it looks like Jenelle is ready to put this behind her. Remember, Jenelle makes good money, y'all. She does, right? On OnlyFans, she is making good money. She says she makes something like 30 to 40K per month off of that. And then she's got other streams of income as well. So like, it sounds like a lot, but for her, and I think her living expenses are relatively low, like she's going to be all right. right? Good morning. Oh my God, not that nonsense. Nice to see you, boo. Hold My Foot Joe says, when I saw what David got in the divorce, I laughed so hard, not because I think he deserves those items, but because I think Jenelle deserves some consequences. Shrug, sorry. Listen, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. You know, like she should have made better decisions. She should have listened to people, right? When people were telling her not to go for this guy, like the red flags were glaring, waving in her face. Good morning, Money Swipers. Nice to see you. Mocha Madness says, the thing is, David is not the first guy she was financially supporting, so she can't teach us nothing. This should be her lesson. Exactly. And he's still not going to be the last. One thing about Jenelle is she's always going to be tricking off on a deadbeat man. So stay tuned. She already announced that she was on a date just the other day. So, you know, maybe this is the next lucky guy who's going to get some money off of her. And we already found out that that other guy that she was dating after David, August, she was paying things for him too. She was putting loans in her name for him. So she hasn't learned her lesson. So for her to be sitting there saying, oh, I hope people learn from my mistakes and my lessons. Girl, when are you going to learn from your mistakes and your lessons? You've been doing this for over 15 years. Grow up, make better decisions, get your ass in therapy, and turn your life around. You've got 3 children who are counting on you to make better decisions for them moving forward. Anyway, this story just pisses me off too much. Why don't we get to the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively of it all, shall we? So you guys already know how big of a mess this lawsuit is, right? So Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake was thrown out, right? There was just too much nonsense in that lawsuit. Like, it had to be thrown out, right? But they're now fighting in Blake's own $100 million lawsuit against him, right? And so the latest update is that Justin Baldoni's crisis PR team wants more money. They're saying that the Swifties are vicious. They're a huge group and they need extra money in order to dedicate some manpower towards combating them in this war of public relations. So shout out to TMZ for this, because that was absolutely insane when I saw this story come through on the feed this morning. So they got some legal documents that show that somebody from Justin's crisis PR team asked for a $30,000 fee to deal with the blowback from the Swifties. Oh, and this just happened the other week on August 7th, okay? And so it's this whole email, and at the bottom there's a note that says, and I quote, the social team are now worried about Blake activating the Taylor Swift fan base, which is a major concern. With this in mind, and to ensure Justin and the studio are 100% protected moving forward, they have now changed the fee to $30,000 per month due to the uptick in social chatter. And then there was another legal document that TMZ managed to intercept. And this time it was an invoice from Jed Wallace's crisis PR firm sent to Justin Baldoni's filming studio. And it was from the next day. And yeah, it was the bill, the $30,000 bill that they would need. Listen, the tide is changing in this Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively lawsuit. At first, a lot of us were team Justin Baldoni, you know, and you guys already know my own journey with this. I started out team Blake when I read the op-ed. I said, that's terrible. I can't believe it. And then Justin Baldoni clapped back with his own receipts, his own whatever point of view. And I said, wait a minute, that's crazy. I'm team Justin Baldoni. But the more that his lawyers talk, the more that the judge scolds him and his team, the more that all that stuff moves forward. I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. I think that Blake might have something here, right? I actually do think that Blake is ultimately going to go ahead and win this lawsuit. Just saying. And Justin and his team are feeling that the chatter online went from being very like Johnny Depp-esque. Do you remember the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation? How the entire internet was team Johnny Depp. They were dragging Amber for filth. It was so hard to find a single Amber Heard supporter. That's what this was looking like. But the tide has since shifted. And now you're seeing a lot of people come out, you know, as the story develops, as the thing continues to go through the court. And they're saying, you know what, wait a damn minute. this is not looking right. This is not smelling right. There might be something to Blake's claims, and they're starting to criticize Justin Baldoni and his legal team. And so now his legal team, his crisis PR team, they need more money to combat that chatter, right? And it's interesting because this is one of those things that is in Blake Lively's complaint and her lawsuit against him. She's saying that he engaged a crisis PR team to not only clean up his reputation, but to attack her own reputation. And to me, this is something that the judge was dragging him over, right? The judge, when Justin Baldoni's legal team started putting all this random stuff about Taylor Swift for no reason into his lawsuit, the judge said, what are you doing? Taylor Swift has nothing to do with anything. Is this just a media circus for you? Like, what the hell is this, right? Before he ultimately got rid or dismissed Justin Baldoni's case. So now hearing that they're trying to engage more with the Swifties and whatnot, don't be surprised if you start reading stories about how Blake Lively and Taylor Swift have fallen out, how Taylor Swift can't stand Blake Lively and thinks that Blake Lively is using her or like a bad influence for her. She doesn't want her to ruin her new era of like whatever that new album she announced was, right? Very, very interesting stuff ahead. Money Swiper says that trial was wild. It really was. Like, I have never seen the internet so like overwhelmingly in support of one person in the midst of a trial. Kristen says, Amber poop, never forget. So that is in reference to Johnny Depp accusing Amber of shitting his bed to get back at him for something. Oh my God. Well, I hope your dog's paw's okay. Money Swipers. OMG says the Amber hate was off the chain. The Blake stuff is not nearly as bad. Yep. And that's that. But truly at the beginning, when all this was playing out, there was a lot of anti-Blake videos on TikTok, on YouTube, and things like that, Twitter, etc. Like, people were really dragging her because she's not a sympathetic victim. Y'all, I don't like Blake Lively, and I hate that I have to root for her in this right now. She has a terrible history, like her weird obsession or thing for or nostalgia towards like the slavery era and whatnot. Like, I don't like her, right? But unfortunately, I do believe in wrong is wrong and right is right, and like having to ignore that stuff to take a look at this particular case in hand. And in this particular case in hand, it does look like she may have been a victim of Justin Baldoni. But again, we're not yet sure. This case is going to continue going on or playing out until March of 2026 when they go to trial. And then more information is going to come out from then. So I'm still, just waiting for the truth. I'm just letting y'all know where I am right here, right now. Good morning, Acacia. How are you doing on this beautiful Wednesday? Nice to see you. Hey, Tyrell. Glad you're back, boo. Malen says, remember, it was same PR that was against Amber too. So there you go. He's engaging the same PR firm that was used against Amber Heard. Makes you wonder some things, right? Exactly, Gail. Yesterday, Jenelle made absolutely no effort. I was so pissed on behalf of her kids that she sent them there like that, right? Oh, especially for Kaiser. Lord. Milan says that's working for Justin, right? So keep an eye out on this, you guys, and try to keep an open mind. I know Blake Lively is not likable. I know Blake Lively has a terrible, terrible reputation. I do not care for her either. However, I do think that, it is important to be fair. When it comes to matters of justice at the end of the day. It's not about whether or not you personally like a person. It's about whether or not that person was done wrong, legally speaking. Anyway, you guys, wow. I have to take a deep breath and a sip of water because I know some of y'all are going to come here and drag me when I get into my Valley recap, but I'm getting ready to take my licks because guess what, y'all? I always have to tell you the way I'm genuinely feeling, right? And I left watching part 3. I left pissed the F off at the way it was handled and the way that Janet was treated. Y'all, please let Janet know that she's got a supporter in me because I know the whole internet hates her, but I see through all the BS going on. You know what it reminds me of? Jessica from season 1 of Love is Blind. If you go back and watch my season 1 of Love is Blind videos, I was always a hardcore Jessica supporter. I said Berna is shady. Like Jessica, like I loved her. And guess what? The tide turned on that too. So I'm ready for the tide to turn on this. You guys will see. As the Valley's seasons continue on, I hope they get 10 seasons, just like Vanderpump Rules got. You're going to see that Danny is a complete freaking creep. You're going to see that Nia's eventually going to get tired of him and his weirdness. You're going to see that he really does have an alleged problem. Just saying. And thank you, Winnie the Cat. Thank you. Listen, I don't have to like somebody to stand for what's right. My husband was so confused. He thought Blake, oh, damn, really? Blake Lively? That's crazy. Daryl says, I was so against Amber. I was badly abused and she doesn't act abused. I would never, ever antagonize my ex like that unless I wanted time in the hospital. And that's the thing about complicated victims, right? A lot of people have a hard time reconciling the way that somebody acts versus the way they expect somebody to act in those particular situations, right? But at the end of the day, it is so difficult. Like, we're all so different that we react to things completely differently. Listen, you guys, like I said, I have to take my sip of water and I have to prepare myself to get dragged for standing up for Queen Janet. Okay. So while I take my sip, while I take my deep breaths, we've got a word from some of our sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to be talking about part 3 of the Valley's reunion special. If you're enjoying today's episode of the show, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoy my content. We will be right back on the flip side. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I'm not ready for this, but we have to do it anyway. I'm ready to take my lumps. I'm ready to take my freaking lumps because, like I said, and by the way, this comment made me laugh so hard. It's already started. Catherine said, you're the only one who supports Janet and Joy. But listen, I'm ready to stand tall with my convictions and take my lumps, okay? Because I sincerely want justice for Janet after last night's episode of The Valley. Again, Andrew Cohen disgusted me and disappointed me. And there's this part where Janet and our husband, Jason, they were talking about how what Danny did to Jasmine and her girlfriend, Melissa, was not okay, and that he has made other women uncomfortable. That's all they said at that point. He had made other women uncomfortable. And so Andy asked him for an example. And so Janet, she goes, what's that? Michelle. And so Michelle passes the buck to Brittany. Brittany, tell us about that experience, because you had already told us. Everybody knew about this. Jasmine corroborated the story. Brittany had told the girls that married Danny made her uncomfortable at her birthday party. He got drunk and he was like following her around, flirting with her. So for me, if I were the host here, I'd be like, so why is it that this man, married, father of 3 under 3, like he always likes to brag about, why is he always getting wasted? Why is he always around this group, like behaving in ways that make the women uncomfortable? Whether it's touching Jasmine's thigh, touching Melissa's ass, or now following Brittany around, right? Danny should have had a magnifying glass under him. His behavior is creepy and it's inappropriate. So Brittany, she shared the story. And instead of us like sticking to that and asking Danny questions about his alcohol consumption and why, if you're comfortable behaving this way within your group of friends that are on TV, friends that know your freaking wife, how do you behave when you're around strangers? I'm sorry, but I'm 100% convinced this man cheats on Nia like crazy. I'm convinced, right? Do I think he wants to cheat on Nia? I don't know. But I think he's got an alcohol problem that leads to him just really, really wanting to get with people whenever he gets drunk, right? And it's inappropriate. So I don't get it. Why are we acting like this is okay? Why are we sweeping this under the rug? Instead of addressing this, what does Andy do? He says, oh, but Janet and Jason, you guys said that like he was touching other women. At that point, no, they didn't. I rewinded it twice, right? Once to see Jason's face. The second time to re-listen to what they said. All they said was that Danny had made other women uncomfortable at that point. Later, they're going to talk about how he touched up on other women too. But at that point, that's all they said, right? So we completely ignored the fact that this man, yet again, is behaving in a way that is disrespectful to his wife and disrespectful to other women. And we point the spotlight on Janet. Why is that? The misogyny. I'm sorry, y'all, but I feel like some of y'all are suffering from internalized misogyny. This is a crash course in misogyny. It really is. How did he walk away unscathed? Why, instead of talking about his disgusting, creepy behavior towards Brittany, towards Jasmine, etc., why are we picking apart what it is that Janet and Jason said to describe his creepy behavior? It's such a cop-out. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I feel like I'm going crazy. I really do. Like, what is going on here? I do not understand it. It feels crazy, right? It really does. I'm sorry. Let's see what some of y'all had to say. Malen says, people hate Janet for speaking up about Danny's creepy behavior. I just want to know, it's okay. Like, it's okay as a woman now. Like, what the F? Exactly. Like, why do we have to pick apart her language and not his actions? Andy never wants to ask Danny, why are you behaving this way as a husband and as a father? Do you think that this is respectful to your wife? Are you cheating on your wife? These are the questions that should have been asked, but they weren't. Instead, it was, oh, Janet, why did you say this? Janet, why did you say that? What? Ali says, a supporter that will steal your man. What's the tea? Whose man did Janet steal? Because listen, she did, besides mine, she already stole my man. It's Jason. Malen is team Janet as well. Thank you. Now we're a team of two who support Janet. I was so shocked by the way that this serious topic was handled in part 3. Carly says, you sound like you're bending the knee for Janet. I stand a loyal queen. Listen, I'm bending the knee for like the truth in all of this, right? The truth is that Danny has a problem and Danny is kind of creepy, right? Multiple women from this friend group have now said that the man is creepy. He's made them uncomfortable. When he drinks, he comes on to them. Why are we not asking questions about him being a cheater? He's a cheater, in my opinion. This is cheating. This is weird. Ramser says, Grace, because your love for red-haired, I won't give you a hard time for your opinion on the Sussexes, but Netflix did not like. They did. It's an extended first look deal. And shout out to my redheads. Y'all know I love y'all. What happened? Oh my God, Allie, why did you say that, Allie? Seriously, like, look at the way that this was handled. Why are we not asking Danny questions about his infidelities, right? To me, these are symptoms of infidelities. You're talking to other women, you're flirting with them to a point where they're feeling uncomfortable. Like, why is this man coming on to me? He's got a wife and kids. Why are we not picking that apart? Why are we talking about Janet describing his actions? Catherine says it's probably because he has, exactly. So to me, if you have no tolerance or whatever, stop drinking. And the fact that he can't just stop drinking right now, he's like, oh, I've stopped for 2 weeks. So he could be able to say that on the show. Trust and believe next season, we're going to be hearing more about how this man has gotten back to drinking and how he's creeping on more women. Trust and believe. Nia right now, to me, is what Brittany was to Jax like a couple of years ago. Your man is cheating on you. He's playing in your freaking face. He's disrespecting you. He's disrespecting your children and your family. And you're over here like fighting for your life, pregnant with his baby for, like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Bree says, Grace, I see your perception, but why does Janet and Jason go so hard at Danny but support Jax? I think that's the problem. Well, yes, I think that like that is another question. However, I don't think it's more important than the question of why Danny creeps on other women when he drinks. It's not more important to me than the question of whether or not Danny has been cheating on Nia physically. Is it just flirting, or are you physically cheating on her? Because the way that this man gets so drunk, I wouldn't be surprised if he sleep. You know what it reminds me of? Tom Schwartz. Remember, Tom Schwartz would get blackout drunk and then he'd sleep with other women. And his excuse is, oh, I was blackout drunk. That is the energy that Danny is giving, right? I'm calling on Grace for rewinding. He's so hot. I'm sorry, Allie. He's hot. I love him. He's hot. So yeah, you guys, I was really, really shook about that. I did not understand it. You've got Brittany here saying the man made her uncomfortable. We're not asking more questions about that. Like, what exactly did he say to you? Nia, are you happy that your husband is over here talking to your friend like this? right? Telling her she's, what was he saying? Like, Brittany said he was coming on to her, but we didn't get details. Andy, that was your freaking job to ask the questions. What did this married man with 3 children at home say to Brittany about her looks or about her body that was so flirtatious? Nia, are you happy that your husband talks to other women like that? Like, that's freaking disgusting. And that is freaking weird, right? So it wasn't until after they said that he made other women uncomfortable that they said that he had also touched up on other women, right? It was 2 completely different moments. But Andy, he had a hard one for Janet. He really wanted to take Janet down in this episode. And so he misquoted her and Jason, and it pissed me off. Okay. So now, you guys, next moment here is we got Jax, who admits that he did have that burner account, Frank Drummond or something like that. And so at this point, you could tell that he is just over it. He realizes that the group doesn't like him. They think he's a joke, right? And this really bruises his ego as a narcissist, right? And so I wasn't surprised to eventually learn that he had walked away from the show, because at this point, like, there's no moving forward for him at this point, right? And so now then we go back to attacking Janet. This man is married. This man has multiple children and a wife at home, yet he's running around flirting with other women, making them uncomfortable, touching some of them, saying creepy things to others. Yet what does Andy Cohen want to focus on? Janet, and how she called what he did sexual assault. So her lawyer husband says, oh, well, actually, it's battery. It's actual battery, right? And so Andy is still upset that we're even calling a spade here. He's like, yeah, but, even if it's technically that, like, using that is like a little bit like inflammatory, don't you think? Really? You don't think touching up on women, following them around, creeping them out is inflammatory? Calling it what it is the inflammatory thing? That's the problem we have here? Please. Janet all the way, my girl. I hope Janet doesn't leave us, because I'm happy that she stood 10 toes down. And she said the exact same thing. She's like, really? So what I'm calling it is the problem, not what he's doing? Where was that question? I'm really curious. I really want to know what Nia thinks about this. Nia, this is your husband who runs around town like this, like a freaking drunk, like a freaking creep. What do you think about this? Right? Like, this is so freaking weird, right? And so Andy, he was so like gunning against Janet to the point where he was like, oh, everybody raise your hands if you thought it was inappropriate for Janet to call what Danny did actual harassment or assault or whatever. And they raised their hands. Well, what about this? Everybody raise your hands if you thought that it was inappropriate for Danny to touch Jasmine and her girlfriend. Raise your hand if you think it's inappropriate for this man to leave his wife and kids at home to go around drinking his face off, flirting with other women. Raise your hands if you think it's inappropriate for Danny to be following Brittany around, flirting with her and making her uncomfortable. Where was that? And as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, this is why the men from Vanderpump Rules were able to get away with abusing those women for a decade. The misogyny, you guys, of Andy Cohen, of the group, and of the viewers is flagrant. And it makes me so freaking sad. It really does. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, as a woman watching this, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. A man can go touch women on their asses. He can go touch their thighs. He can go tell them, call me daddy, this, that, and the other. That's fine. But a woman calls it out and everybody has to raise their hands and say that she's wrong. Okay. That's where we're at as a society. Okay. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Where were the cheating questions? Andy, like, ask this man, are you cheating on your wife? Right? Like, I think he's cheating on his freaking wife. I do. Bree says, but they did say that. They kept bringing it up every episode, no other storyline. And it's like crazy. And they need it on TV. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? On these shows, everybody always has like a singular storyline or maybe like a secondary, but it's mainly one particular storyline. And that was theirs and they were sticking to it. Carly says, I only know what you've told us about the show, but I can say Danny seems like a creep for sure and should be called out for it, period. He is a creep. He's a weirdo. He's gross. He needs to like never touch another sip of alcohol in his life. He cannot handle it. Sweet Bonjour says, I'm here. I had to listen to my job tell me I'm sorry about the layoffs. That's always the worst. I got laid off twice. In 2 big like mergers. It's not fun. The money they give you is fun, but the layoff itself is not fun. Good luck. I hope you survive it, boo. Kelly says, I was disgusted with the way they treated Janet. I was disappointed with Andy too. Yes, we've got a third supporter. We might even have a dozen by the end of this. If you're watching this in the bushes and you support Jenna, please come support us. We're dying. We're in the trenches. It's only 3 of us right now. Catherine says, well, actually 4 because Super Joel is with us. Danny's a creep. Kat says, I think it's Danny is probably drunk and leaning into hard and the verbiage used is a little too strong. Well, that's the thing. We need to be stronger about Danny's alcohol consumption. He needs to stop. Oh, like I haven't drank for 2 weeks. Oh, that's cute. Like, please don't drink again for the rest of your life, right? SA is exactly what he did. Exactly. You can't just run up on somebody, touch their ass, call yourself daddy. And like, what? Dwayne says, I'm confused about how people are confused. It was always been clear Andy and Bravo support the worst of the worst. There's 4 of us or 5. Oh, I'm so happy. I.e. Portia, Tamra, Vicky, Mia, Giselle, Heather, Dr. Jackie, Heavenly. Exactly. Like, it's crazy. These people are also protected. And I think it's because Danny and Nia give off this like polished youth pastor vibe that people are not seeing like how gross this is. Like, this is disturbing. If this were Jax running around doing this, like the conversation would be a lot stronger, right? Nobody would be like, oh, raise your hand if you think it's inappropriate that Jax is being called an assaulter for touching a woman, an unwilling woman's ass, right? Like, people would be asking Jax, like, really, you think this is appropriate behavior? You got your child at home, your wife's raising your child alone, and you're out here getting drunk all the time, creeping women out. You think it's appropriate to be flirting with other women in the group to this level? Come on. And exactly, Malen. Like, I feel like Danny might just be better at hiding it. Like, he's got a problem. He's got a substance problem, right? And he has a woman problem as well. He's got his woman is way out of his freaking league. Let's start there. You got this stunning woman at home. You got all these kids at home. And yet this is how you're spending your free time. It's not even your free time. Like, because it's not even your free time. This is how you're spending your time, period. That, like, OMG says, stay home and have a couple drinks. Then you won't accidentally commit adultery. Exactly. But I really want for him to just not drink at all. Like, I think he's got a problem, like a serious problem. And it's very worrisome to witness. Bree says, why was Jasmine humping him from behind literally after? Really? I don't remember that. What episode was that? I have to go back and watch. I don't remember that. Kelly says the cast was subscribing to a backward mentality. Exactly. It was like, who cares about what you do? It's about covering up what you do. Bree says, girl, I think you're going hard because you really like Jason. Girl, stay out of my relationship, please. Kat says, so Andy is dropping the ball on multiple reunions. Yup. Listen, I think that he has done too much, right? He's got like 1 million Bravo reunions. Now he's doing the Love Island reunions. He's got his Sirius XM show. The man has too much going on. We need to kind of let somebody else take the reins for certain shows and certain reunions moving forward. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the morning report. Nice to see you, boo. Melissa says, now I'm suspicious of Andy if he thinks Danny's behavior is okay. Oh, listen, remember how Andy blocked our friend Kempire because Kempire was showing this video of like Andy at like a gay club twiddling a random man's nipple? Listen, I know that man was like a willing participant or whatever, but like, maybe that's his thing. He likes touching up on people too. I don't know. Alice says, sorry, I was driving. I think using the legal terms is what makes this discussion murky to have on a reality show in front of the big boss. Yeah, like it puts the show in like a liability kind of standpoint. Like I totally understand. But to me, like doing these actions, like the network needs to come down on him and say, listen, we can't afford another scandal. You need to keep your hands to yourself. You need to stop harassing women, go home, give your baby a freaking bottle, and stop this behavior. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Right? Like, come on. Right? Tyrell's raising her hand. Are we up to a half dozen? We might have a dozen by the end of this. Yes. Justice for Janet, you guys. Kelly says, my butt was constantly touched without my consent while in school. Teachers watched and did nothing. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, Kelly. Like, this type of behavior is so freaking disgusting. And to watch it be minimized, swept under the rug, and the people calling it out, brave enough to call it out, they're the ones catching heat. What? Ali says, did anyone else catch Nia saying she was having contractions? I wonder if that made people not go as hard as they should have. Yeah, that might have been it too, right? And I hate that for her. I'm like, girl, again, why are you pregnant by this man running around cheating on you drunk? Like, what are you doing, boo? And then second of all, like, you're the one going so hard for this man while he has you looking stupid. Your husband is behaving in a way that makes you look like a freaking pushover, like he has no respect for you or your family, and it's gross to me, right? Nikki says, see, this is why I don't watch the show, because it's too much disrespectful and misogynistic behavior. I just listen to your reviews. Yeah, listen, it'll give you a freaking heart attack. I really thought I was going crazy. Like, Am I seeing, like, why is Janet getting attacked? Like, that is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy town, right? And Kelly says Jasmine wimped out too. And that's the thing. Like, Jasmine she was supporting Janet, right? She's like, yeah, she's trying to be a friend. And but like, she kept on wimping out. It makes you wonder, like, is it because Janet is now the outsider? She's about to be iced out, and Janet and Jasmine doesn't want that to happen to her. And so she has to like play ball. By the way, I'm not sure that Jasmine's going to get another season. Like, I don't really see her being too like enmeshed or ingrained with the cast. So I don't really see them needing too much from her next season moving forward. Good morning, Gwen. Nice to see you, boo. And you know what? It makes me so happy every time I see your birthday, Dora. I'm so happy you got that, for your B-Day. Super duper cool. Now, there was a moment, by the way, as we wrap up this recap where Jesse, by the way, I was actually quite surprised that Jesse's still with his girlfriend, because on the show, it sounded like they had broken up and that she was more interested in like the Baywatch actors than she was in Jesse himself. But lo and behold, the two of them are still together, and she's still coming around this cast threatening like, lawyers on them, which is so freaking weird. She went to Michelle's season finale Zen party, and then she had the nerve to bring up lawyers again. Like, girl, why are you here? They're filming, right? And she's like, I don't want to be filmed. Then why are you here, babe? Like, that's so weird. And Jessie was like acting like it was so ridiculous that these people would suggest filming with her when she showed up to a filmed event, right? And Andy put him in his place, right? He's like, hell yeah, it makes sense that they would demand that. Like, she came to a set. Like, if she was here at the reunion with you, I would mic her the hell up too, right? Because guess what? You're shooting a show, and the show is called The Valley. And I said, good. Where was this energy for Danny? Let me stop. Danny boy, please stop alcohol forever. You're going to lose your marriage. You're going to lose your family. Mark my words. If this man continues drinking, they're not going to be able to make any more excuses for him one day. So give it a season, give it 2, give it 3, give it 4. But eventually, if Nia has a freaking backbone, she's going to get sick and tired of her creepy ass husband with the drinking problem, the alleged drinking problem anyway. And that does it, you guys. That is how part 3 of the Valley's reunion wound up playing out, you guys. Very, very disappointing. I'm just saying, you guys. To me, this was an exercise in extreme misogyny, both from men and then internalized misogyny from the women defending the stuff on the show. Kristen especially. Oh, God. Oh, the internalized misogyny in that girl. Don't even get me started. Kelly says, how long before Nia files for divorce? Listen, unfortunately, I think she might be like brainwashed due to her upbringing to the point where she probably will accept this stuff forever. But if she had a backbone, she would be ready. She would be, consulting, those divorce lawyers. Just saying. And Danny is a voiceover actor, and in addition to a regular actor as well. Gwen says, thanks, Grace and Same. I tell myself every day I should change it, but now it makes me happy. No, keep it. I love it. It makes me happy too. It's so freaking beautiful. Guys, I don't know why, but it kind of feels like a Friday. I was almost about to tell you guys to have a great weekend or something, but it's not even a Friday. It's only a Wednesday. What am I doing tonight? Oh, I'm going to do my nails. My nails are falling apart now. That's the thing I love about shellac. You only have to do them like every week and a half, 2 weeks. So I'm about to do them over manicure and pedicure. And I have to watch 90 Day Fiance so I could do more recaps for you guys. And I also have to, what else do I have to do? I already cleaned my apartment and it's really hot, so I don't really want to go outside like that. But I do have to go and grocery shop. Womp, womp, womp. Bree says, this is all started first season. Janet caused all the drama. And I do agree that the stuff that Janet was saying about Kristen, who was supposed to be her friend at the time, and then bringing the ex around, like that was really weird behavior on her part, for sure. Right. And then the Michelle thing, I feel like we never even got to the bottom of that. Like, what was the truth about that? Right. At the end of the day, Allie, what are you getting done to your hair? I hope you have a good experience at the hair salon. Listen, I have to take down my hair. Speaking of, it's been almost a month. As of next Monday, it'll be a month. I have to take it down. I do have to get a relaxer touch up, but can I tell you guys, like, getting a relaxer done sometimes is so depressing. Like, it's so hard to find a nice hairstylist. Like, they're always like so rude, So like, I'm dreading it, but I have to get it done. just to see where my length is at, and then deciding what I want to do moving forward. But oh God, speaking of hair, I'm dreading that. Milan says, Grace, are you going to watch Taylor Swift's podcast? The one with her boyfriend, alleged boyfriend, Travis Kelce? Yes, I will be tuning in to see how that goes. And, you know, I guess we could talk about it on the morning report as well, if you guys would like. Ramster says, my dad raised me well. He was so anti-misogyny. He told me to slap back. Yes, so I did, as you should. I love that, Ramster. Honestly, it's something that we have to instill in our boys and in our girls, especially because unfortunately this world is so patriarchal. This world is so misogynistic that accidentally, many of us internalize that misogyny and enforce it against other women, right? Kelly says, do you do your own nails? Yes, I do. I do my own shellac. I don't know if you could see like the proper color. Yeah, I do my own nails. I bought one of those like machines. You know, I get them off AliExpress, off Shein and stuff like that. And then my manicures last about like 2 weeks or something like that, or a week and a half. Kahara says, anyone watching Muck and Bee Dynasty? No. What is that? What's that about? Oh, she's getting a sew-in. You know what? Maybe I might even get a little sew-in because I think my hair is maybe like shoulder length now, or just about, but it's very thin. So maybe if I get a sew-in for a little bit of volume. Ooh, but I haven't had a sew-in since like 2010. I think it's been a while. Yes, absolutely, Tadisha. I'm about a couple of episodes behind, but I'm catching up on that. And I also have to give you guys a recap of Perfect Match. So I'm on episode 6 of Perfect Match. I think there's 3 more episodes. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about all the relationships. So far, I'm loving Ollie and AD together, but I'm scared for the other shoe to drop, because I'm hearing that something happens. Marshall might have something to do with something as well. So I'm watching, like, you know, to see how all that goes. I'm nervous because I really do like this couple together. And now they're stuck for life, right? Like not together romantically, but in general, because they're expecting a baby together. Bree says, well, I saw a post Jason and Janet admitted to playing up this Danny thing for the storyline. Yeah, well, that would be disappointing if it were the case. But at the same time, I still think that the messaging is important and that overall, the cast should have come down on, oh, now the heat is installing. Now I'm like sweating my face off. Yeah, honestly, I still wish that they handled it more. But you know what? I will be honest with you, Brie. I want to know more about Jason and Janet and their marriage. And, you know, I think the way that they explained away the tattoo ring thing, like, oh, we're laughing at ourselves, please. Please, there's more under the surface. And she did admit when they were getting the tattoo that he does take his ring off, right? Something about like, oh, well, now when you take your ring off, you'll always have this. It's like, oh, so you admit he does take his ring off. Let's talk about that. Carly says, mine is down my butt now and I'm ready to cut. Really? Please. And your hair's black? Send me some. I'll put that as my clip-ins or my little sew-ins, Carly, please. You all would have loved my dad. Well, listen, you know, he raised you and we absolutely love and adore you, Ramster. So I'm sure we would have loved him too. Acacia says, good for you, Grace. Thanks, girl. Thanks. But you know what? Listen, I think I'll have to do this Sunday or Monday of next week or something like that, right? So that's why no one cares what Janet says. We hear her first season so she can call out everyone, and we don't care. She really was toxic first season. Y'all remember my recaps? Actually, I didn't recap first season because I watched it late, but she was toxic first season, but I really do like her this season in regards to this particular thing. But I do also say that she's kind of like somebody who sucks all of the air out of a room too, right? So just saying, right? The dad is a hot mess and so are the sons. Oh my goodness. I need to get back and catch up. K-Car says, I would love, okay, well, it's coming up. I've only recapped 1 or 2 episodes so far, but I need to catch up on the rest. Shelby says, y'all don't cancel me for this, but as a white girl, I get a haircut like once a year. Black hair and styles are gorgeous, but my heart hurts for y'all's bank account. Oh, don't even get me started. It's expensive and it's a lot of work, but you know what? Listen, I'm waiting for my hair to get to a certain length so that I could just wear my own hair and save my money. Anyway, y'all, listen, I'm sweating. I have to get like the fan going and I have to start watching 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After and finishing up Perfect Match so I can get those recap for you guys, okay? If you enjoyed today's episode of The Morning Report, even y'all in the bushes and my playback posse as well, please go ahead and leave a like so that YouTube knows that you enjoy my content. And I'll see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for more of the day's hottest stories. That's all for now. Shout out to the Janets. What do we call ourselves? The Janet 6, like the Jackson 5, the Janet 5. And I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Have a good day. Bye.